Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Culture Shock podcast. This is neither Shock Talk or Nerds Lair today. We're doing something a little different this week. It is a Culture Shock special, and we're talking about the DC recap, or we're recapping DC leading up to the Flash, I should say. Joining me is Nerd Layer's host Juancho and Jay
Sup?
here. Welcome, guys. So, yeah, this week was a little different because me and Juan want to talk about the same topics. So I came up with the idea. I was like, "Fuck it, let's just do a special." This is gonna be our big special. Whenever we want to talk about the same topics, we're gonna do a special
Little
because
crossover.
a little crossover. Because one, I don't want one show to overshadow another show when we could just come together and kind of do these shows. Both of our shows are gonna still live kind of often own dependencies on the Culture Shock channel and on the Spotify. Which I both like that idea out of it because one, you guys are doing great with Nerd Slayer. You guys are actually kind of got more view time than me, which was really shocked, and I wasn't even upset about it. If anything, I congratulated you on. I said, "Nice going on that one."
Oh, he's
You
making
know,
us cry, Jay.
no, I was very happy for you guys. It's really sorry. I'm gonna actually almost cry a little bit. It's this dream I had when I was pitching you the idea of I didn't want one show to really overshadow the other. If we could work in a harmony with both shows and just get both of them successful off the ground, that would make me happy. And to uh our amazing, support from our friends, family, we have actually gotten, if I'm checking YouTube right now, you guys are at 31 views with 4 comments and 2 likes. Well, I know the 4 comments. 2 of them are pretty funny. And the first one I did with Civ's at 28. So, technically you guys are leading the views right now. You guys are full steam in the head.
Yes, sir.
But, today we're not going to talk about that. We'll get into that another day. But as of right now, I just wanted us to be on this video, with a little introduction to, the DC universe with movies. Where was our starting point? How we got into DC. We're just looking at a recap before the Flash because, the Flash is gonna restart into a new universe. And it's gonna be fun. I've already seen the movie, so I know what to expect coming into tomorrow with watching the movie and how it ends and everything. But you guys haven't, so I'm curious. You know what, Juan? I'll start with you.
With how he got into DC.
Yeah, how'd you get into DC?
See, I'd say Batman Begins, but it was actually the Justice League animated series.
Ooh, banger!
That
Wait,
series.
Unlimited or the first one?
The first one.
Okay,
The
so
first-
okay,
Yeah. What really got me into like Batman, Superman, all those characters, Martian,
banger,
Manhunter, yeah.
banger.
And also the classics like original like Michael Keaton Batman and Batman Returns, Forever,
Banger.
Robin,
Banger.
Superman, the movie,
Banger.
the movie that made everyone believe a man can fly.
Yeah, and then I tried flying and I ate shit.
And Superman Returns too. That movie was pretty.
We'll get into that one later on in the
Okay,
episode. Yeah. We'll get into that one. I have some thoughts about that one. But Jay, where was your starting point with DC? How'd you get into it?
The way I got into DC was from my brother because he was the one that showed me Batman, and it was just that he showed me Batman
Banger.
Beyond,
Banger.
and so I started watching the Batman Beyond series, then the Batman animated series. I just started getting into them, and what's it called? I just started liking DC, and from that point on, yeah, those shows got me into DC, caught me up on like on like some of the heroes and stuff, the dynamics and stuff like that. Yeah, so it was all really just my brother.
For sure. For me, it was Batman and Robin. My first experience because it was on Cartoon Network years ago. Batman Beyond, the Batman the animated series, not the new movie.
The one that came out after Beyond. Yeah,
yes.
That one.
And a lot of people don't even mention this show, which I'm surprised you two haven't really mentioned the show. We have Teen Titans, the original.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I did watch it.
Young Justice.
Yeah.
Like we all said, Batman Begins. Well, I'll add on that. Batman Begins. Superman, Michael Keaton, the whole Batman films. But the other one we still haven't. I don't even think we've talked. I'm surprised you two haven't mentioned it. Was Man Brave and the Bold.
Oh yeah.
The best fucking comedy Batman show.
Oh, you know when I didn't mention that I actually would watch as a kid growing
Which one?
up? I think it was short lived. It was the Crypto animated series.
Crypto the Super Dog? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. Absolute banger. Yeah, that's how I also got in this. It was Crypto the
yeah.
Super Dog. Oh, I'm surprised none of you mentioned this one either. This one got me into a little bit of Batman. You're gonna laugh at this one. It was Scooby Doo meets Batman.
Oh yeah, I had that on DVD.
The
I still
best.
have that.
Or I had it on VHS.
Yeah. Oh,
That
nice.
shows you my age, but I've long lost that VHS. That's been lost since the dawn of time. That was an absolute banger of like a crossover like mini movie. We're gonna have Bat Milk and cookies. Bat Milk, man, was flabbergasted by Bat Milk.
Of course, Shaggy.
Forget the iconic 60 series.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 66.
Shark repellent.
The bro had it in the belt. You always be strapped with it.
Man was loaded.
But no, we're here just to talk about a big DC look back. You know, there's been a lot of DC movies, DC EU films, which the DCU is coming to an end since this episode is coming out on Thursday tomorrow. The DCU is officially coming to an end at 4 o'clock on Thursday, June 15th, with the Flash ending everything and restarting a new universe.
Yeah.
Where did you guys? So did you guys start off with Man of Steel as your first movie to the DC?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I kind of skipped that one. My first introduction was BVS to the DCU.
And did you watch like Man of Steel right after that, or was it later?
Yes and no. So for me, Man of Steel it's a what's the word I'm looking for? It's a unique film to me. I find it very boring. And you guys know I like Snyder, but I find Man of Steel absolutely just boring.
Fair enough.
And here's the thing. I don't find Batman vs. Superman boring, but I can sit through it and watch it perfectly fine. I can watch Zack Snyder's Justice League perfectly fine, sit through it. Man of Steel, I just find boring because it doesn't get to the point until like 30 minutes in the movie. I think, that's when he goes to Metropolis and stuff, and then it starts doing Superman shit.
Come on, that's an awesome third act though, with him and Zod.
Yeah,
carrying down the city.
But I will give you this because I told you we were going to talk about it in a minute. I would have rather. You two, I think, might look at me differently after this. I feel like a few people who listen to this or watch this might look at me differently. I would rather watch Superman Returns over Man of Steel.
Oh, I think you told me that, yeah.
I find Superman Returns very entertaining. One, because if you know the story, it's continuing, you'll find that passion for the film in your heart for it. And I'll bring up some questions next week about the Flash spoilers because I know it's already in a debate for Twitter about with a certain thing that is shown in the Flash, but I'll explain all that next week. But as of right now, for me, the DCU is a very, very it's a very touchy subject amongst friends. It does spark a lot of arguments, which is really funny.
Well, how many movies has it been as of now?
God, I want to say it's Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, Suicide Squad, Justice League. No, Wonder Woman, then Justice League. Shazam?
Aquaman. Birds of Prey.
Black Adam, Shazam 2.
Oh yeah, Suicide Squad. The
Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
I want to say it's been 10 films? 11?
Yeah.
Maybe it's going to be 14 with Lost City or Lost Kingdom.
Yeah.
Which, the DC movies, they've had a real rocky fucking.
They have.
It's been nothing but. And here's the thing: the general audience likes the movies. Comic book Twitter does not like the movies. So that's where that divide is going to be with what I feel is the Flash. Because now I told people on Twitter, I was getting into it heated with people on Twitter right now. My whole thing is, and I told someone this, the general audience, because here's the thing, I heard of some cameos that got cut. They're from the CW. I know who got cut. Was I a big fan of why it got cut? Was I okay with it when I saw the movie? Yeah. For me, the general audience kind of knows 3 characters that are getting shown in the big cameo multiverse scene that you'll see today. As in today, I mean Thursday, because this is recorded on Wednesday.
Yeah.
You're gonna see 3 characters you know. One will shock the ever living shit out of you as to how they did it and why they did it. And if you know DC history, it benefits you as to why you know it. And it is a nice payoff. And it's a nice tribute to a certain director who finally got, or a certain writer director who got shown what was or what could have been. But no, even after my 2 screenings, I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, what screenings did you go to on Twitter?" Mine were laughing and not even liking the film. I go, "Well, I talk to everyone after my screenings. I like to get, general audience opinions just to know for superhero films." The whole goal was I talked to people. I go, "So would you see this again on opening weekend?" Everyone said yes. That's how much they love the film. And that's not even me just exaggerating. I just said, "Hey, now that you've seen it, are you ready to see the finished cut and the official ending on this day?" They all said, "Yeah." They said, "Yeah, we're ready to rock with this movie. That it's just a fun movie." And at the end of the day, that's what a movie should do. Is it should bring you enjoyment, fun, and laughter and emotion with the story. Flash managed to do all that as a solid DC film.
Also, I want to ask you, what was like your, because this had because notoriously had years in development, was delayed, directors. Like, what was your excitement level like all along as this went down?
So, the cast got announced back in 2014, October 2014.
Yeah.
Give or take. I was a freshman in high school at the time. And I remember seeing the Flash TV show and then hearing they were doing a movie. And I was like, "Oh shit, a movie on the big screen that's not going to be the TV actor? I'm still hyped for it." And I read a little bit of history about the Flash film today. And it's got an extensive history for those who don't know. Like the directing duo who did 21 Jump Street, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, Spider-Verse, and the Lego movie, Phil Lord
Chris
and
Miller.
Christopher Miller.
Yeah.
They were attached to direct at one point. But then they left to go direct Solo, but then got fired from Solo and then went to go do Spider-Verse. Sean Levy was set to direct at one point. What's his name? Rick
Fumiyama,
Yeah, Fumiyama from Mandalorian.
who did Dope.
Yeah, Dope, and he did some episodes of Mandalorian, and he's an EP on
that's
Mandalorian.
right.
Was set to direct, dropped out. This might surprise you. I don't know if you guys know about this one. Robert Zemeckis was set to direct at one point.
Oh, I remember. I think I heard a report. Yeah.
Sam Raimi was set to direct at one point.
That would have been interesting.
Oh yes, this movie has been through hell.
Well, and it's not even just this version. It's like before, even in the 90s, they were trying to get a Flash movie.
Yeah, because they wanted David Goyer. Well, it was after David Goyer wrote Batman Begins. They wanted a Flash film.
Yeah.
And for some weird reason, and this is old Warner regime. We're not even talking current Warner regime. At least current Warner regime made DC its own separate studio, not tied to Warner kind of ish. But that's all they get the funding from is from Warner, and they have more freedom control with James Gunn. The thing with the Flash is, I don't think the studio ever had in mind what they wanted for a Flash film, and that's what kind of made audiences, or I'm gonna just say Twitter people, Twitter people, they didn't know what they wanted out of a Flash movie. For me, I always saw the Flash as a time travel franchise. That you could do anything in the DC universe with him if it was time travel.
Yeah,
and a multiversal exploration movie. That was always my set in mind. Was I want a time travel film, and I want a multiverse film. This is the time travel multiverse film that I wanted, and it works. I like I said, I loved it. I know a few people in our group aren't going to see it because they don't want to support it. I love the movie. I thought it was fucking fantastic. And even with all the controversies surrounding Miller, he acts his ass off in this movie.
Yeah. I wanted a Flashpoint movie from the Flash.
Well, that's what it was called. It was called Flashpoint.
Yeah.
But again, moviegoers, casual, general moviegoers, do not read comics. And that's where Twitter doesn't realize that. And I had to break that down to some people. Because they're like, why not call it Flashpoint? You're calling it a comic book name when general audience does not read comic books. Or half of them have not even picked up a comic. Like here, I have it right here. For those who are listening to the Spotify version, you won't see this, but if you're watching the YouTube, I have Flashpoint. I own the whole. I'm on trying to get the omnibus of Flashpoint and trying to get my old boss actually, who owns a comic book store, has the box set of Flashpoint, and he wants. I forgot how much he wanted from me for it, and I told him I'd give him it as soon as I got money. But it's every single book and tie-in for Flashpoint in single issues. But I want the omnibus. There's a few omnibuses I'm after, but I'll get into that another day. But no, the thing with Flashpoint is it's more in depth, and this movie is not really Flashpoint. It just takes elements of Flashpoint.
Like the classic go save, try to stop the murder of Nora. Yeah.
And
I showed it in the trailers. Yeah.
And this plays a big part in that movie. It's basically this movie. If you change one thing, you change everything.
Yeah.
And it shows. It shows. And even the ending. Spoiler episode's coming next week. I want to talk spoilers about this film next week. I've already kind of explained the ending to someone who saw it early a little bit too. They're like, well, wait a minute. He did this. And I was like, yes, but remember, change one thing, you change everything. That's what the movie is implying. And that's what Affleck kind of tells him early on in the movie when he kind of remembers he can time travel. And then after that, it's just a fun time travel adventure. It's essentially No Way Home and Back to the Future had a baby, and it's the Flash with Multiverse of Madness.
You got a fan of Jay of Multiverse.
Yeah, no, I like Multiverse of Madness. I didn't think it was that bad.
I do too. I don't know why people say Multiverse of Madness is shit.
Yeah, yeah, it had some moments, but it was for the most part it was good. But we're talking about Marvel.
Well, again, what people don't know is Multiverse of Madness. I learned had 33 drafts written up.
Yeah.
Oh.
So my whole question is, what were the other 32 drafts that we didn't see?
Yeah.
How bad were those drafts?
And also that movie was also in a little bit of production hell.
Mm-hmm. Because Scott Derrickson left, and then we got Sam Raimi. But episode for another time. I want to get into an episode about directors dropping out and leaving films.
Well, I was gonna ask Jay quickly. What was your excitement level for Flash? What would spread your excitement level?
I would say a nice 7. I'm excited. I'm excited for the movie, but it's also like in my head, I just don't know how the movie's gonna turn out, and stuff like that. I don't know how it's gonna turn out fully, and that's what kind of holds my excitement back.
I will tell you, from me seeing it twice, and I'm gonna take out the biased DC fan for a minute. This is just me seeing it twice. Let's just say I didn't get bored the second time watching it. If anything, I was looking for Easter eggs and stuff the second time because there was so much stuff I missed the first time.
Yeah.
Because it's all nice callbacks to just everything in DC. It's not just the DCEU, it's everything that DC and Warner Brothers has done.
Yeah, and that is something I kind of liked from Across. I like how they had callbacks to the original source material. Yeah. I like it when comic book movies do that, And
Mhm.
I mean, I also love the Flashpoint series. So like since they're like incorporating inspiration from that,
Yeah.
uh, that like that already had me like my
Oh yeah.
interest peaked. Like that already had my interest peaked, and
Hmm.
um, I don't really know any Muschietti's like type of directing style.
You've seen it chapter 1 and 2, right?
I only seen chapter one. I never saw chapter two.
Watch chapter 2 tonight if you can. That's
Yeah,
kind of it. He brings that horror esque kind of not too much horror, but it's a lot of one shots, not one shots, not a lot of cuts. It's a lot of just up and close and personal and getting to know the characters.
yeah,
And that's what he did with it. Was you got to spend time with each individual character before you saw Pennywise,
yeah,
and you got to kind of learn their backstory and learn why they were being kind of
And
was it
then
like cursed by Pennywise, hunted by Pennywise.
yeah, and then and then we root for them and
Yeah, and
whatnot.
that's what he does with you for Barry when he takes you. You get to learn Barry's. Well, for people who don't watch the CW show, you get to learn Barry's backstory, but it doesn't start with his origin. It just starts with him saving the day. Like
yeah.
the first 15 minutes are probably like the Justice League shit cartoon.
It's like
That's how it
Joker.
plays out. And
Oh,
yeah, and it works. And then you get into the origin stuff, or not origin. You get into the backstory of Barry Allen, learning why he's the Flash, why he was chosen by the lightning bolt, what he's doing up to this point.
well, also in this movie, you haven't brought up kind of event 31 years in the making, the return of
Oh
Michael
yeah,
Keaton.
Return of Michael Keaton, and the story does a good job explaining why Keaton shows up to it.
Yeah,
And that was another thing that also had me excited because
yeah.
I love Keaton's Batman. He may not be like my all time favorite, but I like the nostalgia for me
Mhm.
like that was like, oh wow. And
Yeah.
he looked badass in the trailer, like doing
With that
his
Danny Elfman music.
yeah
Dude, if
like
you think the trailers made him look badass, just wait to see the movie. It's unreal. And the first time I saw The Flash, the unfinished cut, I saw it on a big ass IMAX screen, and oh my god, was I crying? Cause like there's the shot in the trailer where he's like standing up above and then he swoops down.
yeah
Like Arkham. Yeah.
Yeah, but so imagine that, but without it doing the weird like flash cut thing and
Okay.
seeing it whole. Dude,
like a one take.
this man grabs him, literally grabs this dude, beats him mid-air, and then throws him on the ground. And then he just starts kicking all sorts of ass on the ground, and it's awesome.
Yeah, from that trailer, he was on something else.
Bro was on something else the entire movie.
Yeah, he was on that like super soldier serum. That man was not playing in the trailer.
But we were talking about the Flash a little too much, and that's gonna have some stuff come out that I don't want to come out just yet because I want you guys to enjoy the movie.
Some ramifications.
Yeah, some ramifications, some canon events. Um, but no, again, with DC just being in this weird state of movies either doing good or not good, good or not good, good or
Or
not
being
good,
canceled.
being canceled, being scrapped for tax write-offs. When I saw raw cuts of them and it was absolutely not good. Yeah, I managed to see a cut of Batgirl.
Oh,
I
you
didn't
you
watch the
didn't
full
tell me.
movie. I kept that a big ass secret, and some people are gonna find out tomorrow. Uh, some people are gonna find out when this episode goes live today, being Thursday. Well, but today, we're recording this on a Wednesday. You guys are gonna find out today on Wednesday or Thursday when this is live. I seen leaked footage of Batgirl. It was not that appealing.
Is
It
it like a
was
CW show?
yes. It was very much like It didn't even look like Batwoman. I didn't even know what it looked like. But it showed her like swinging from like a rooftop, hitting a Christmas tree and taking it down, and then like fighting. I was like, you're doing Batman without Batman. Just do Batman. And that's not even me hating Batgirl. I think she's a very interesting character,
Yeah,
but she's not strong enough to have her own movie.
it depends on who's Batgirl though.
Yeah, it has to be Barbara Gordon though. I don't see anyone else being Batgirl. And it's also no shade. Who was cast as Batgirl?
Leslie Grace.
No, even shade to Leslie Grace. I think she's a fine actress. I even sat through what was her movie that came out 2021? Oh, In the Heights.
In the Heights, yeah.
I watched it. I liked it. She was great in it. No shade to her. I just don't think she had what it took to be Barbara Gordon. And even to the costume, that costume looked cheap. Because originally it was supposed to be an HBO Max movie, then they bumped it up to a theatrical movie, and then it got bumped back down to a series or something. Or it's Batgirl is just a mess to begin with. No one was asking for Batgirl. It got rumored that Joss Whedon wanted to do it, but then he backed out, and that should have been a sign that Batgirl should have just went back to being something else.
And don't forget, like Batgirl is just scratching the surface here. Like, remember they were trying to do Wonder Twins for 75 million.
Oh wow!
But that was never gonna work. No one. Here's the thing. This is why I primarily hated the old Warner Brothers regime. They had Walter Hamada approving the most bullshit shit that could ever come out of DC. Because who in their right mind was asking for the Wonder Twins?
A lot of people don't even know who the Wonder Twins are.
Exactly. And they're played off. Now, again, I saw some tweets today, stuff about Aquaman in the post-credit scene, about how they're showing Aquaman as this joke. I'm sorry, before his movie, Aquaman was the biggest joke in DC. I don't want to hear shit out of anyone
Oh yeah,
say Aquaman was never a joke. Aquaman was always looked down on as the joke hero in any DC media they ever did before Jason Momoa came on and took on the role.
I mean, he was kind of a joke in like comic book media.
Robot Chicken.
That Family Guy.
Yeah, like,
the Robot Chicken DC special. They play him off as the biggest joke, and it is the funniest thing ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't want to hear no tweets or bullshit about Aquaman was always a serious hero. No, he wasn't. Don't lie to yourself. We've all made fun of Aquaman.
I mean, it wasn't really until the 90s when they, let him grow out his beard and chop off his hand.
Yeah, and they gave him a can.
Yeah. But like that was peak Aquaman.
But even in the Aquaman movie, he's kind of a joke.
They're taking selfies with him. He's getting drunk.
Yeah, like, and people are getting mad about that. It's like, no, I want Aquaman to be a cool drunken sailor. Like, what do you mean? Like, that's hilarious. It's just, you hear the shit, and it's just like, when I told Jay earlier, I texted you guys. I was like, dude, I have to like stop talking about the Flash on Twitter. I'm gonna get a headache fighting with people on Twitter about this because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And it's hilarious that people think that comic book Twitter, I've stated this multiple times to people getting into it with people on Twitter. DC comic book Twitter does not know what they want out of movies. So when they make suggestions, Warner Brothers will do it. And then they're not happy with the suggestion. Like, one of them things was, oh, stop fighting in a city and showing a bunch of damage to whatever property and this. So they did Flash in a desert. Now people are complaining that, oh, why isn't it in a city? Again, clear sign as to what DC Twitter does not know what the fuck they want out of movies.
I don't think Twitter knows what they want in general.
Comic book Twitter does not really know what the fuck they want. Like, again, I think I sent you Juan the scripts I drafted, like just bullshit scripts I was writing for fun for my DC slate and stuff.
Oh yeah, you showed it on the Discord. Yeah,
I sent it to the Discord, and I'll admit wasn't the best, but this is just my idea. If I were to do a slate, what I would do, and some people text me back. They go, "Where'd you think of all this stuff?" I go, "Well, I read a lot of the New 52. That's what I grew up on was New 52. that's what I'm writing it based off of is New 52 stories.
Yeah.
So one of the things that people liked about my whole thing was I was kind of ditching Lois Lane in favor of Wonder Woman getting together with Superman. And I
Mhm.
wanted that to be a solid love story because we've seen that in the DC animated films. And it is awesome. I love that they did that. And they brought Lois back and I was like, him and Wonder Woman had really good chemistry and you kind of just shit on it. But whatever.
Also, like in Injustice and Kingdom Come.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What was the other one that people liked that I did? Blue Beetle was the big one. Or no, not Blue Beetle. I take that back. It was Static Shock.
Oh, yeah, Static Shock.
Oh yeah.
So my Static Shock movie was going to be a time travel movie. And it was going to be, Virgil getting his powers. But him learning his powers with Batman and Flash. But he hits a machine and he gets sent back to and he gets sent forward in time to the future and meets Terry McGinnis and an older Bruce Wayne. So it would have been Flash and Batman trying to get him back to the past with Terry and Bruce trying to also get him back to the past. And it would have been almost like 5 points of views of how to do it. And it would have been really cool. And, a lot of people text me, they're like, that's actually not a bad idea. Why'd you think of that? I go, because, Static needs a cool adventure. I want him to go on this cool adventure. Because I feel like in a reality, in a comic, Static and Terry McGinnis are like the best of friends.
Yeah, they're homies.
Yeah, they homies. Because in, I think it's Justice League, there's a future episode. And that's where I kind of based it off of.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. What else? Yeah, I had a Flash movie but if it wasn't time travel and I didn't use Reverse Flash, it was just him going up against his rogues gallery with Batman. Aquaman was, I think I sent Wonder Woman to go help a giant Atlantean war. Superman went to go meet Green Lantern in a giant all-out Lantern war. I had the weirdest ideas, and I was like, yeah, I don't ever see this being good, but it's just my concept of what I would do.
They're creative minds.
Yeah, it was just I had the idea, and I was like, I want to jot this down. This is my whole creative-ish mind.
You're drained afterwards. You're like, oh man, I don't know if I can.
Honestly, a little bit. I was tired after writing that. I'm not gonna lie. And I was also watching. What the fuck was I watching when I was writing it? And it was really funny. Oh, I was watching Batman the Animated Series.
Nice.
But no, yeah. So after me spewing for like 10 minutes, we'll go into what was your guys' favorite DCEU movie?
Oh.
I'm gonna hit y'all with the hard question.
Oh, this question ain't hard for me.
All right, Jay. Since it's not hard for you, what's your favorite?
Y'all ain't gonna agree with me.
Okay, shoot it.
Suicide Squad 2016.
Actually, I don't hate it. I secretly like that movie.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Like one thing, like I know it's not like the best comic book movie ever, but hey, the cast was good and they carried the movie.
You want to know? Here's the thing. Now, this is where I get into the debate with people about the 2016 Suicide Squad. Do I call it a bad movie? No. Is it an okay movie? Yeah, sure. It's not the best, not the greatest. Did it flop? No, it did not flop because it made $800 million for its box office return.
I didn't even know that.
And its budget was like, I want to say less than $200 million. So, on paper, Suicide Squad 2016 outgrossed Batman vs Superman.
Mm.
And the last Suicide Squad.
Well, COVID, but that's different.
Oh yeah.
We can attest for that movie because that movie is really good too.
Oh yeah,
it's really funny.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite DC movie of all time. But like,
yeah, no, but Suicide Squad 2016, it's a commercial success. It is not a flop the way people think it's a flop. Because
it's got great characters too.
It's got great characters, great cast. They all have good chemistry.
Yeah, and I mean,
The
We got
story's
shot.
a little whack, villain's a little whack, but at the end of the day, if your cast has great chemistry and they're being those characters and performing them well, why are you complaining about a movie? Like, I understand if you didn't have fun during this movie, but I had fun during the movie.
Yeah, I did too.
Like Will Smith's Deadshot,
Carrie.
Guy Courtney's Captain Boomerang,
Oh yeah, Diablo.
Oh,
El Diablo,
yeah.
Killer Croc, boom.
And oh my god, like we can't forget this movie gave us the best Harley Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
Like the heart that Margot
Margot
Robbie.
Robbie, boom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. Like
All right.
that is like one of the greatest Harley Quinns ever.
I'll let Juan say his favorite, and I'm going to tell you guys another hidden secret
Ooh.
fact I don't tell a lot of people.
Oh, so someone really likes the Suicide Squad. I think Man of Steel is an underrated masterpiece. I love that movie. It's the best DCU movie. I get hate for it, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Okay. I have mine. I don't think really will shock a lot of people. I don't want to say The Flash yet because it's still not out. I want a lot of people to see it. But for the longest time, my favorite DCEU movie was The Suicide Squad, the first one, and then
Great
I
minds
liked
think alike.
Shazam.
Oh, yeah, so that was very good.
Shazam is excellent. It's got the humor, it's got the story, it's got the emotion. And also Zachary Levi, I don't care what people say, I watched Fear of the Gods, that man is still Shazam.
You don't think he kind of acts like a different? Because
No.
some people bring that up.
Here's all right. In any media with Shazam, whenever he is the adult Shazam, he still acts like a kid.
Yeah.
Even in the newer comic I read, he's talking to a T-Rex, being all kiddish excited, talking to a T-Rex.
Yeah.
Adult Billy really isn't. He's supposed to be wise, but at the end of the day, people forget he still has the mind of a kid.
Yeah, he's still a teenager.
Yeah, he's still a teenager. He wants to have fun. And it's weird when you're showing a story with a child actor who's growing up. You can't really. It should. The movie makes it weird for the gods, but I liked it. It was still really funny. I laughed. It had a lot of good moments in it. It had a lot of heart and the humor of the original movie.
This is a recent one, but I had fun with Black Adam. It wasn't perfect,
I
but it
tell
was
people
good.
I had fun with that movie, and they don't like that I say that.
Like, it ain't perfect, not by any means, but
Yeah, it ain't perfect, but listen, the action was fun. It got to the point.
score is great.
Yeah, I have the score on my soundtrack playlist. I love his theme.
Yeah.
What else?
Back to Day was good.
You guys might
Oh yeah.
hate me. You guys might dislike me for this one. I like Birds of Prey.
Oh, J Money likes it.
I love that movie too.
Oh, you like
It's
the
fun.
okay?
It's fun.
Yes.
That movie is so fucking funny.
Yeah.
And the more I watched it, the more I understood the movie. Because here's the thing: people think the movie's a mess, but that's Harley's mind we're watching.
Yeah,
from her point of view.
Yeah, it's her point of view,
her
and it
mind.
just seems like a bit of a mess. Which her
But-
mind is a big mess, but the
Yeah,
movie
her
is
life is a
hilarious, and it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I wanted to flip the question
Again,
on
by no
everyone.
means like Jay, it's not a perfect movie, but it's a funny
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ewan McGregor and that.
Oh
as
yeah,
Black
he was
Mask.
excellent as Black Mask.
Oh, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
I wanted to quickly flip the question to everyone. What's the worst DCU?
Wonder Woman 84.
Oh yeah.
Justice League.
And I'm gonna give the crown to Wonder Woman 84.
I still have not seen Wonder Woman 84.
You ain't missing much. You really ain't.
Yeah,
missing
you're
much
not.
out of this movie.
There's a reason 3 was canceled.
Yeah, and people are bitching about it. It's like no, Wonder Woman 84 did not do good.
Yeah, like I like the suit. Like I like that Valkyrie suit she had. Like, I mess with that suit. Like I kind of.
All right, it's a cool suit. I'll give it that. It's a cool suit. I give it that. But
Yeah.
also, it's not the best suit.
Oh yes, it's not the best too. There are definitely better ones.
I will say Justice League is bad, but Wonder Woman 84 kind of took that crown a little bit. Like they're both sharing the crown at the moment to me.
Yeah.
Because
But-
I was hyped for Wonder Woman 84. I was really excited for that movie.
Yeah.
And then I watched it and I was like, this is the biggest piece of dog shit. And I watched it on HBO Max because theaters
yeah,
weren't
so did
open
I.
yet. So the only way I had to watch it was HBO Max. So I watched it on Christmas with my family. And me and my dad look at each other and we're like, that was not good. Because my dad, all right, I'm going to be honest. My dad likes superhero movies. He actually likes DC films over Marvel. He likes I think he likes The Dark Knight, to be honest, but doesn't really like it. He hasn't seen the Batman yet. He liked
Oh.
Aquaman. He laughed during Aquaman.
Oh yeah, the first Wonder Woman. I don't think anyone mentioned. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a gold standard of how you should do a female superhero movie.
But sorry, you were saying.
He likes Justice League. And yeah, I'm not gonna get mad at my dad for liking Justice League because I like the full blown extender cut, and he can't sit through a 4-hour movie, so he doesn't know that exists, and that there's director cuts all of a sudden. I will say though, since we're doing DC recap, I'm surprised we haven't talked about this yet. Kevin Smith announced he saw a cut of a recent movie. What do you think that movie is, Juan?
Batman Forever.
The Schumacher cut. The man has seen the full release of Batman Forever, the Schumacher cut.
And I was telling you, I'm surprised. Like it's a thing, but you told me like.
Here's my question. It was always a thing. The scenes are filmed. They're deleted scenes. They're out there on the internet. If you look up Batman Forever cut scenes,
Yeah, I don't know.
you can look it up. You can find the scenes. My whole thing is, if Kevin Smith has seen this movie, I feel like they're gonna announce it's gonna be coming to HBO Max, or it's gonna be called the director's cut.
Yeah.
I don't think it will be called the Schumacher cut, but because as of right now, the Schumacher cut it's getting more steam than the release the Snyder cut was.
Yeah.
And I told someone this. I think I told Adam this because we were talking about this the other day of prepping for this DC recap and a little look back as a DC special. I told Adam, listen, that's the only superhero cut I want to see. After that, I don't want any more director cuts. I don't want them to exist. I want just regular cuts of movies. But Batman Forever, I want to know what this original idea that Schumacher had. Because when you pull a horror director from The Lost Boys, and you want your film to be family friendly, but Schumacher had a darker tone in mind, I want to know what that darker tone was.
Yeah, he said he wanted more Dark Knight Returns kind of interviews.
And have you seen the picture of the big ass bat?
I don't know. I haven't.
I'll have to find that.
Oh,
No,
I think,
it's
or
not
the deleted scene, right? Where
No.
it's Bruce.
So Jay, do you not know about the Batman Forever cut?
No, this
All
is
right.
the first time I'm ever hearing about it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
explain
History
it,
lesson
explain
on
it.
this recap. So Batman Forever comes out. Commercial success. It wasn't really a flop. It got money. Joel Schumacher wanted a much more darker toned, with psychological elements than Batman Returns. So Batman Forever was going to be the psychological breakdown of Bruce Wayne. And what it was going to be was Bruce Wayne at one point in the movie was going to lose his memory and not remember who he was. This is what people are going to ask, where am I getting this information? Adam told me about this and I looked it up and it's all true. It was going to be Bruce Wayne losing his memory and him having to go through a psychological event and reliving the death of his parents to get his memory back. And at the end of that, he was going to see this giant, big bat animatronic. And when he touched it, he was going to get his memory back and remember who he was. And I think there's a bit more scenes. The opening is a little bit darker. Yeah, from what I heard, there's like 15 minutes of like extra 15 to 20 minutes of extra footage.
So
and it's all filmed and done. That's the thing. They filmed it way back when.
So was that like kind of hand that Barbados, or was Barbados even a thing in the
No,
comic?
it was just him just gonna see a vision of this big bat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was just supposed to be. It was supposed to be as who is Bruce Wayne? Why does Bruce Wayne do what he do? Why does he dress up and fight crime as Batman?
So basically, what like the entire like reasoning why he becomes Batman.
Yes,
Okay.
like it's still the same movie, but just there was this big giant bat that got cut, and the
Oh, yes.
bat looks horrifying, dude. Like that is like a nightmare fueled thing, but it looks unbelievably cool, and it's animatronic. And then now here's the crazy part: Batman and Robin wasn't even the original idea for what they were gonna do for a final film. The final film was going to be called Batman Triumphant. And get this, it was going to have George Clooney standing in the middle of a black room as a scene.
Oh yeah, I've heard of this.
And it was going to be, at the time, the most expensive scene in movie history. It was going to bring back, well, I take that back. Mr. Freeze was still going to be the villain, and Poison Ivy was still going to be the villain. It was going to have every villain from Batman's past standing in a room looking at him. So we were gonna see Jack Nicholson return, Danny DeVito return. I think Christopher Walken, was his name
Shrek.
Max Shrek return, Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman, Jim
Jim
Carrey
Carrey.
Riddler, Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face, and then Poison Ivy and Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was gonna cost around almost, I want to say $1 million, not even $1 million, like maybe a little more, just to get
Wasn't
all
it the thing like it was a scarecrow like fucked up with his mind or something? Wasn't that the
Yeah.
idea?
Yeah, he was supposed to get hit with toxin and see all the villains of his past.
Who they wanted Nick Cage to play?
No,
Right?
it was still George Clooney.
No. I'm talking about Nick
Oh.
Cage to play Scarecrow.
Yeah, I
Was
think
that the
so.
idea? Yeah.
I think, but they still also wanted Mr. Freeze and Arnold in the movie.
Okay.
Because Arnold at the time was star power.
True. Well, didn't they want Harley Quinn in that movie?
No,
Correct me
because
if
that
I'm
was going to
wrong.
be the third Burton film.
Oh,
that
okay.
They were going to do, and I read the script. No, wait, Batman Triumphant. I think I have to send you the script. I have it.
Okay.
I have that, and I have the Justice League Mortal script. I have. Yeah. Oh, for those.
Lorenzo with the scoops here.
They got bugged.
It's not even scoops. I just go online and people are like, "Have you read the script?" And I'm like, "No," but I can go find it with script archives or whatever, and I can pull up old scripts because Justice League Mortal over time has
got the
just
poll.
leaked out. Yeah, Justice League Mortal over time has just leaked out, so now they just completely did with the NDA and just dropped the script fully.
Show me some of the concept art.
The concept art is nuts, dude. That's awesome concept art. Even with
Look at that.
I don't know if Jay Money knows about this. Did you know that there was a Superman Nick Cage film in development?
I do know about that one.
Oh yeah,
There's
they
gonna
made
be
a
Superman Lives.
documentary.
Mm-hmm. It's a pretty good documentary.
Yeah, John
Adam watched it. Yeah.
That's how Superman lives.
Mm-hmm. It was gonna be written by Kevin Smith and directed by Tim Burton.
Hey, I mean, I didn't know Tim Burton was going to be directing. I didn't know that part.
It was gonna be. They had some weird director, but then they called Tim Burton and were like, "Hey, do you want to do Superman?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do Superman."
Yeah.
And then there were so many scripts written up in the drafts, and then they had this little indie director at the time, aka Kevin Smith, to write and pen the script. And we've seen the script kind of evolve into a Supergirl episode titled Supergirl Lives. And he directed that episode, which is really interesting. It's really good. I recommend people, if you haven't watched it, watch that episode of Supergirl. It's probably one of the best Supergirl episodes I've seen in a while. But yeah, I recommend, Jay, if you ever have time, just at work when you're on a lunch break, read up on just canceled DC films, and half of them are going to blow your mind at what was in development.
Yeah, it could. I know about some, but like not too many.
There was a two Green Arrow films in development.
Well, I know about the Supermax one. I think you know about that one, obviously.
Yep, Supermax. And then there was just a regular Green Arrow film in 2009.
Wasn't Supermax going to be by David Goyer?
Yeah, David Goyer wrote so many scripts because, again, I like David Goyer, but I don't like David Goyer. I still think he has a little bit of an ego. after the whole Dark Knight trilogy with Nolan. Because he thinks like, oh, I want to say he also wrote.
He wrote Man of Steel. I know that.
He wrote Man of Steel.
Batman
He
vs
wrote Batman
Superman.
vs Superman. He wrote Justice League. He also wrote, I think, the 2 Star Wars films, Force Awakens and Rise of Skywalker, and they are not good. I take that back. Force Awakens is good, but Rise of Skywalker is not good. It's just, yeah. If you read up all the canceled films, I'll send a link to you, Jay, and have you read up on it. It's an interesting what they had. There's, I think a Plastic Man movie is still somewhere in development. If not, it's got canceled.
Oh,
It was
Jay's
gonna be
gonna
by
look at
it
it.
was gonna be by the Wachowskis.
Oh yeah.
Wonder Twins was the one, but they had the CW stars, and that was gonna flop right away.
New Gods.
New Gods, The
Affleck's the
Trench.
Batman.
Well, Affleck's the Batman just turned into Reeves as the Batman.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But he was gonna have Deathstroke as the villain.
Mm-hmm. There was what else? A Batman Beyond movie.
Oh yeah.
The original idea for Flashpoint, Flash from 2009 with David Goyer, because he was doing so good writing films. There was another Green Lantern movie, got canceled.
Hey, wasn't that Flashpoint movie where like all the rumors about Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Thomas Wayne
Jeffrey
started?
Dean Morgan was in
Cyborg.
it. Yep.
Yeah.
It
I
was just gonna be the comic event, to be honest. But
yeah,
again,
like I
for
remember
some reason, Warner Brothers always wanted Flashpoint. I don't know why they always wanted Flashpoint, but they wanted Flashpoint. Like, I've never seen hate for. I'm gonna bring the book back up again. I've never seen hate for a book, a storyline, an actual good storyline by Jeff Johns have so much hatred on Twitter for it. I have never seen that before. And there are comic stories that deserve the damn hate and do not get it. Secret Empire being one of them. I fucking hate that storyline. Civil War 2, hate that storyline. It's not good. But no, I have a few books that I'm going to read on my vacation in the next 2 weeks. I'm bringing Batman Year One, Long Halloween, and Dark Victory. And I just finished, which I will recommend to people, for people that want a nice, fun read. It's a little bit of a thicker book, but I got through it. It took me 2 months to finish it because I kept being lazy. I read All-Star Superman. Highly recommend it. And that's
I wonder what that's gonna be inspired.
It's gonna be Superman Legacy. It's gonna be inspired. And if you want another fun read, because the movie is actually going to be based off of it, there's no inspiration. I think they're adapting it into a screenplay. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. That was an interesting book. I really liked it. I love what Tom King did with that story. It was really good. But then I also have, if we want to get really crazy, I have the 6-issue series of Kingdom Come.
Oh, that beautiful art.
Yep, the Alex Ross art.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm probably going to dig into that one soon. But no, I want to reread Flashpoint, or I'm going to watch the animated movie.
Yeah, I've only seen clips of it. I still have yet to see that movie.
But as we're winding down here, what is your guys' whole overall of DC films and your predictions for the Flash? We'll call it.
Start with you, Jay.
They have potential. They wait, like are we talking about like the whole DCU or like DC coming up, like DCU?
DCEU.
Oh yeah, I'd say they have major potential because they got James Gunn as the coach.
I'm not talking about the future of DC yet. I'm talking about all the ones that have come out in this universe before we get to James Gunn's universe.
Oh.
The thinker.
Rethinking.
The only one I could think of is like the Suicide Squad. I mean, not bad. Like there are some hit and miss, but I mean, DC was kind of in a bad state
Hmm.
for like the most part. They were in a bad state, so like I can cut them some slack. Animation wise, they were killing
Bang.
it. Like, yeah, like animation, they are.
Bro, cut out again. Might be his Wi-Fi.
Good take, good take.
Good take. Good take. Good take. I don't want to edit this because it's really funny of how he just cut off. Well, hold on. Why don't you talk?
Um, yeah, I think it's been a rocky road, like Jay said, a hit and miss. But hopefully DC's kind of like learned
Hmm.
from this and like
Oh
apply
yeah,
it to where we're moving forward. We got Flash coming up and Blue Beetle and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah,
for sure. I think with Gunn, they have very much good potential to grow, and with Gunn being an avid comic reader, he has the potential to get some of the best screenwriters to write some scripts and who are passionate about the projects. But now that Jay is back, continue on, Jay, what you were saying.
Sorry, I had a phone call. No, but I forgot what I was what I was even
You
talking.
mentioned the Suicide Squad and that they have potential and all that.
Oh yeah, like that. I can only like think of like that is in the DCU right as of right now. That's like the only thing I can think of besides gonna be the Flash and also Blue Beetle. But I mean, like as of right now, yeah, they cooking. They
Yeah,
cooking. They got potential.
they cooking.
Yeah, James Gunn, amazing director, writer. So yeah, they got it. They got
They got it. They got it.
yeah
Well,
they got it.
well, guys, this has been a very successful third episode for Culture Shock as a whole. I want to thank Juan for coming. I want to thank Jay for finding time to come do this, and us for. But next week we'll be back to the old regularly scheduled Shock Talk and Nerds Layer. Nerds Layer is actually talking about the Marvel delays next week, which that will be a fun episode.
Alien
I
Secret
might,
Invasion.
yeah, Secret Invasion, the Marvel delays, and everything coming up. Where they're excited for. I'll be doing Flash spoilers next week. I'm really excited for everyone to see this movie and to talk about it because I have so many still burning questions before seeing the final cut. And what might be with people watching this today being Thursday in the mere few hours, my mind is just gonna be blown because I still have a lot of burning questions as to where it's gonna lead and how it's gonna be set up and where it's gonna go from there. But until next week, guys, I've been Lorenzo.
And Juancho.
J Money.
J Money. Thanks for tuning in and listening this week. There was a few delays behind this episode, but we appreciate everyone's support. And we'll talk to you all in the next one. Take
Ciao.
care, guys.
See ya.
See ya.